All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us here. My name is Tim Carter. I'm the sheriff in Shenandoah County, and we're here today talking on the source with Captain Whitney Mauck. And Whitney, we've been chatting a little bit and talking. Gosh, we've had our last week and a half filled with Shenandoah County Sheriff's Office Youth Leadership Camp, which we fondly call Kids Camp.
Right.
And I thought it was a really good experience this year. I thought we had a really good group. They all have their own complexion each year, it seems. It's based on who's at the camp. But I just wanted to chat a little bit with you and talk, since we're now back home and we're finished with camp, and tell people a little bit about the timing of Kids Camp and how it's kind of organized.
So we do this camp every year, every summer. It's usually the first week of June. We go out on a Sunday. We stay till Friday. It's overnight camp, about 30 kids from each campus. We try to get 10 kids from each campus just to keep everything neutral. And it's a leadership camp. So we're basing it off of kids who are already showing us leadership qualities.
Right. And I tell you, I've said this, and I'll say it again, when we as an organization were looking at doing something like this, there was two things we wanted to do. One was we wanted to have a camp where kids stay. I mean, there are these camps that they call them day camps, which we're running a day camp for another age group of kids. But in this particular camp, we wanted a camp where could we find a location where people could stay the week? Because in my mind, part of leadership is being put in a situation where you're with people that you wouldn't normally be with people.
Get you out of your comfort zone a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. And I never really thought about it until, I'm not sure how we got off on Shrinemont, but we have Shrinemont here in Shenandoah County. And I can't say enough positive about the staff there and the support that they give this program. The facilities are excellent, and it's right here in Shenandoah County.
Right.
And, when you're out there, you kind of think you're in another world because you're kind of secluded, but they have all the amenities. So we had some conversations with them, and we weren't educated enough to know, but they have a very robust camp schedule out there.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of things. There's like a band camp out there, and there's an art, and we had no idea that was going on out here in Shenandoah County. So it educated us. We had some experimentation. I think 1 year we had it right after school let out. 1 year we had it right before school started, and that was kind of a mutiny situation almost, because school resource officers are basically running the camp. And so we put them out there the week before school started. It was almost like bringing them back to school a week early.
Right.
And we found it's better. It seems like it works better right at the end of school year. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, because it's an exhausting week anyways. It's jam-packed with everything. It's wonderful, but at the end of the week, just like the kids are tired, we're tired. So, and it's also it's a nice refresher for the SROs to get to go out there and kids to see them in a different light.
Right.
So it's a good way to start the summer.
Plus the other thing is right at the end of school, I don't think the general public understands this, but right at the end of school, kids know that. They know it's at the end of school. And, there's this thing, I don't know if it's anxiety or excitement, where they know that they're, summer's here.
Right.
All the requirements are now going to go away for a period of time. And things get a little wild there at the end of the school year. So this is a way, and at least in my mind, it was a way to bring those school resource officers in with young people that, talking about leadership, they weren't the problems or the
Right.
disciplinary or behavioral issues, that kind of thing. But it was almost like ending on a positive note.
Definitely.
Which is the second piece of this was when we talked about it, a person in your position, it was Becky Mauck, your mom.
Right.
And when Becky and I talked about this, originally we talked about what type of a camp did we want to have. And I know we visited camps and looked at some of the examples out there of some of the camps that law enforcement were doing. Mm-hmm. And we saw the day camps, and we saw there weren't any camps that I can recall that they were focused on leadership. And when Becky and I had these conversations early on, we wanted an opportunity for young people who had been identified by school administrators, officials, as on this path of being a young leader.
Right.
And we wanted to do something to try to promote that. Mm-hmm. So that's how we got off on that particular topic. We didn't want like a camp where, I don't know, for another purpose,
right?
I guess.
Right.
So we started with that, and I think it's grown now.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we've done it for so many years now that we have a schedule that we just look at to go by.
Right.
But this year specifically, it was just so easy. Mm-hmm. Like you don't even have to think about what you're doing because it just comes to you because you've been doing it for so long.
And as far as, I don't think people understand, but like you guys have kind of, like we came up with a base curriculum, and now there's different topics that you go over with young people.
Right. So we do have a classroom session every single night. So we talk to them about communication and how to communicate with each other, with their parents at school, things like that. We talk about social media. We talk about see something, say something, mental health things. There's always a topic for every evening. And some of the conversations are hard, but they're much needed. And these are future leaders. So they know a lot of what we're speaking of already.
Right, right. And then we still do the camp stuff. Like there's camp hikes and
swimming and
right, all of that.
And going to the spring. And they love all of that. Yeah.
One other thing that we try to do is we try to educate them a little bit on different aspects of the sheriff's office. Like bringing different specialty teams out. Right.
So each day, just like the classroom portion in the evening, we have different divisions of the sheriff's office come out every morning. So they get to see the TAC team and how they operate. And it kind of goes into the lesson with communication because it shows them how the TAC team has to communicate. Same thing with search and rescue, and they get to participate in an active search and see how our bloodhound works and animal control and criminal investigations. And it's just I think it's a wonderful experience for them to be able to be part of that.
And the other thing, it helps with the agency. It helps the agency go into an environment where it's not like a call out or an internal training where it's just us. It's you get the exposure of talking to a young leader about, hey, this is things that maybe you weren't aware of that we do. So I think it's positive for the agency.
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely, I agree.
Or people do ask like how their child could be involved. So there's an age group that we're looking for.
6th and 7th graders.
Right. So 6th and 7th graders. And we also are confined to the amount of people that we have.
Right, yes.
I think the most we've had at one camp, I think we were right at it was upper 30s, maybe even 40. And that was a lot.
Right, so now we try to keep it down to 30 campers.
Right. I think the least we've had is about 27, 28. But usually, you're right, we try to keep it in that 30 couple range. But we have had a few more. It really depends on, do we have the staff and the facility to manage that? we ought to talk just a minute about the student counselors. We have a cadre of young people that, for the most part, all of them have been through camp.
Right.
Yeah, and
they've all been a camper at one time.
At one time. And we bring them in as like junior counselors and then senior counselors. Yeah. And I can't say enough about what they do, because I think that takes a lot of the stress and burden off of staff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because we're with the kids all day long and all evening long as well, but they're actually in there mingling with the kids, going through these events and all of that with those kids and talking to them when they're in their bunks.
Right.
And, they do this highs and lows at the end of every day and talk about what their high was and what their low was for the day. Mm-hmm. And I think that camp, it wouldn't be what it is without those counselors.
Right. The acceptance for camp. It's basically you have to have a recommendation from your school or administration of the school before we would even approach you.
Right.
For attendance at the camp. So there's a process where we start looking, I guess that would be probably December timeframe maybe.
Yeah, I mean, SROs are always kind of looking at the beginning of the school year just to see what we would have to work with for camp.
Right.
And then to watch kids kind of evolve throughout the year.
Right.
But yeah, around December, they start getting with their administrators and who do you think would be good at this and successful out here and what qualities do they have and that type of thing. So it's not a sign-up thing. It's a nomination thing.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, and I got to say, I mean, I've been very pleased with the support we've gotten from school administrators in Shenandoah County Public Schools. And I mean, because we've actually really had some excellent campers, and some of them come back and be counselors, and some of them we see later on.
Right.
But can't say enough about that. But that is the process. And then we get through an orientation with regard to the camper, the child, as well as the parents.
Right.
And then go out and spend a week and have a good time.
Yeah, it's funny to see on the first night how everyone's kind of ready to go home.
Oh, yeah.
And so many of these kids have never stayed away from home overnight.
Right.
And then you get to about Tuesday or Wednesday, and they're just all meshing with each other. And then Friday comes, and it's like, can we stay till Sunday?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's awesome to see.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate, Whitney, I appreciate everything you do with this camp, this initiative, and all of the staff. And can't say enough about, again, Shrine Modern hosts and all of the counselors that we've had through the course of time, and school resource officers that are still here or been here in the past that have helped with it. Because I do think it's an extremely successful thing. Yeah, we look forward to next year. It's one of the most enjoyable weeks that I have, because I'll come out. And it's one of the most enjoyable weeks that I have throughout the year is being there and being a part of that. So again, everyone, thanks for watching and listening today. Again, my name is Tim Carter, the sheriff here in Shenandoah County, and with me is Captain Whitney Mauck, who's our support services division head. And we were talking a little bit about our Shenandoah County Youth Leadership Camp in 2025. And I appreciate you all watching The Source, and hope you watch future podcasts with us. Thank you.